I'm a working mom who just gave birth, but the whole company is mocking me for being obsessed with a celebrity and not focusing on my work. Even the photos of the movie star on my desk were forced to be taken down. I was even robbed of my project by my boss, who then made sarcastic remarks. But what they don't know is, that top-tier movie star cornered me late at night and whispered, "Why did you take my photo back? Do you think I can't afford to raise a child?" Just because they said he was a good-for-nothing husband, he announced his comeback to acting the very next day, changing his autograph directly to "earning milk money for the baby." When I returned from maternity leave, the top-tier movie star announced he was married with a child. My colleagues sneered at me. People should know their place. Still fangirling after having a child. Has your idol fallen? With this energy, you should go home and push your husband to earn more milk money for the baby. So I took down the movie star's photo from my desk. That night, when I got home, he cornered me and whispered, "Why did you take my photo back?" They said I was a toad trying to eat swan meat, and that you couldn't afford to raise a child. He pondered for a moment. "All right, I'll take on another role." A few days later, the film emperor, who had been out of the limelight for years, made a comeback. His signature was updated to "earning milk money for the baby." After 5 years of diligent work in the workplace, I took time off to go home and have a baby. When I returned, I found that my competitor had become my boss. The office sentiment was overwhelmingly one-sided. People should know their place. If you like getting married and having babies so much, don't come out to work. Exactly. And she even follows celebrities. No shame. Oh, why do you have to bring that up? Jason got married and had a baby. She must have cried her eyes out. Everyone in the office knew that my idol was Jason Smith. My desk was covered with his photos, and I would earnestly introduce him to everyone as my husband. In the afternoon, the boss called me into his office. "While you were on maternity leave, I gave the project to Jessica." I frowned. "But I did all the preliminary work." He impatiently tapped on the table. "I know you put in a lot of effort, and Jessica is benefiting from your work, but that's how the workplace is. If you think it's a hindrance, then don't have children." At this point, I understood everything. I was busy at my small desk until the last minute before giving birth. In just a few hours, the project changed hands. I was kicked out of the work group. My boss's phone was unreachable, and the client blocked me. It was clear they were making room for Jessica. Walking out of the boss's office, I could hear colleagues chatting from a distance. "Miss Jessica, your necklace is beautiful." Jessica, as gentle and warm as ever, said, "I enjoy this kind of life more than being a frumpy housewife. Look, this is a truly inspiring woman of the new era. Self-reliant, independent." Oh, you're all making me blush. So, the matter of stealing my achievements is not mentioned at all. Isabel works overtime every day. I guess her husband must be a good-for-nothing. Being both a mother and a nanny, her brain must be wrapped in foot bandages, a colleague said. "I haven't even met her husband yet," Jessica softly said. "Then I'll treat everyone to a team-building event this weekend. And bring your families." The few of them grew happier as they talked, completely unaware that I was standing behind them. Jessica turned around, saw me, and coughed. In the past, she had often secretly tripped me up to compete for promotion opportunities. Now she looked somewhat smug. "Belle, bring your husband next week for the team-building event." I habitually started to refuse. "I'm sorry. He's too busy." A colleague quickly interjected. "Are you afraid he's not presentable and will embarrass you?" As soon as this was said, low laughter spread around. I took a deep breath and gave a polite smile. "He's on a business trip in another province and can't come back." "I understand. Don't push yourself." Jessica frowned, looking regretful. "By the way, I'm your superior now, so tell me if you can't handle it." "Of course. My view is still, you can't push your work onto others just because you've had a child. Wasn't it always Jessica who couldn't finish her work and pushed it onto me?" With a new boss in charge, I wasn't in the mood to argue with her. Amidst the rising and falling laughter, I looked at the photo. Jason's gaze was cool and direct into the camera. Light filtered through his light blue shirt, outlining a perfect waistline. As a top-tier movie star who had captivated audiences for years, he had a massive fan base. For years, everyone had worried themselves sick over his marital status. Yet, he remained unperturbed, calmly and politely refusing introductions from within the industry. Never mind, Jessica said with a smile. My brother's resort just opened, and he's invited Jason. Everyone come this weekend. She then glanced at me, and seeing my indifference, added, Belle needs to take care of the kids, so she can just rest at home. In the evening, I carried a cardboard box out of the underground garage. Just as I turned the corner, a low, husky voice came from behind me. Isabel. I turned my head, and the corridor's motion sensor light came on, illuminating Jason's face. Half of his face was hidden in shadow, his profile sharp and handsome. He looked travel-worn, dressed in a suit, as if he had just rushed back from some formal event. My heart quickened, and I asked in a disbelieving whisper, Why are you back? Jason's long legs were casually bent, and he leaned lazily against the wall, which barely made him seem less tall. It allowed me to look up slightly and take him in with my eyes. Missed you? Is that not allowed? His buttons were undone, and his belt cinched a taut, alluring waist, complementing his straight, long legs. With a high nose and thin lips, his gaze was dark, as if he could draw you in when he looked at you. I was stunned, my face gradually turning red. 2 years into our marriage, I still couldn't help but feel a flutter in my heart when he flirted with me. What are you holding? It would have been better if he hadn't asked, but when he did, I was filled with annoyance again. Junk, I grumbled, stuffing the items into his hands and stepping into the elevator. Jason followed closely, holding the things. Since both Jason and I were busy, we had hired a nanny. Our daughter, Cindy, spent most of her time sleeping. She was sound asleep, and I poked her fair, tender cheek, asking the nanny about her daily routine, while Jason tidied up things in the living room. Half an hour later, I quietly closed the nursery door. Turning around, I saw Jason standing outside the door. I don't know when he got there. He lowered his head, cornering me, a smile playing on his lips. Belle, why did you bring my photo back? When he spoke to me in that tone, it usually meant trouble for me. I took a few steps back, and just as I was about to fall, I narrowly grabbed his shirt and wrapped my arms around his waist, feeling wronged. They won't let me fangirl in the office, and they said you're incompetent and can't even earn enough for formula. He pondered for a moment, ignoring my brazen, opportunistic hands, and said seriously, Okay, I'll take another acting job. The living room lights weren't on, and by the faint moonlight, I stared at his waist, lost in thought. Belle, what do you want to do? His voice had a hook to it. Slowly, I tugged at the shirt on his waist and swallowed. Jason immediately understood everything. No, wait until you've recovered a bit more. I looked up, and our eyes met. The frustration from the day transformed into some crazy yet happy thoughts. I need a shower. He lazily stared at me, his lips slightly curved. It's still early. Are you sure? The night made his voice even more alluring. My ears burned, and I softly said, Sure. Jason shed his serious facade. I can handle this much. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder. When we were dating, Jason always went out of his way to tempt and flirt with me. He looked so cool and ascetic, but when he spoke in private, it made people blush. After we got married, he became even more uninhibited. He didn't act like a father at all. Belle, open your eyes. You're beautiful. The mirror was fogged up. I sat on a small stool, and warm water poured over my head. Jason's sleeves were rolled up to his elbows, his forearms firm and strong. His shirt was mostly wet. He leaned down and sniffed my hair. Smells good. I didn't put on perfume. Milky scent. My face flushed red, and I whispered, Don't say that. Jason's breath deepened, and he said hoarsely, Belle, can we go public? He had been nagging about this for a long time, always bringing it up when I was dazed by him. It seemed to have become an obsession. No. Although Jason earned a lot and could support me and the child, that was my career. I had told him before we got married. As a result, over the years, Jason had skillfully fended off all kinds of introductions and matchmaking attempts. Jason snorted. Not going public? Not even letting me display photos? Not planning to give me a proper title? He suddenly tickled my funny bone, and I giggled. No. Got time this weekend? Yeah. Great, I'll take you somewhere. After showering, I leaned against Jason and texted Jessica, wishing them a fun team-building weekend. Of course. I was met with another round of her sarcasm. Unexpectedly, the next day, Jason took me to a resort. His team members all recognized me, and when they saw me, they enthusiastically called out, "Sister-in-law!" I shyly held down my hat, which was being blown by the wind. "I'm Mr. Jason's little assistant. A colleague to all of you." Everyone tacitly cheered. We get it, keeping a low profile. The weather was perfect. I stood at the lobby entrance, wearing a mask, waiting for the staff to arrange check-in. Jason had another event and left with his agent. Before leaving, he softly told me, "Feel free to look around. I'll take you to dinner after." Then he handed me his ID. The resort had beautiful scenery, with an exquisite artificial lake surrounded by it. A flock of white swans in the lake, and beyond that, a man-made beach. "Sister-in-law, do you want to go to the beach to watch the volleyball show?" Several energetic young women from Jason's team egged me on to go downstairs. Then, hugging their swim rings, they swarmed towards the beach. I ordered a glass of orange juice and hid under a sun umbrella, watching them play. Suddenly, I heard several familiar voices not far away. "Miss Jessica, is Jason really staying here?" The tone carried a hint of excitement and urgency. "Of course, I'll help you get autographs." Jessica, wearing a bikini, pushed aside the bushes and met my gaze. Several colleagues filed out from behind her, lining up, their expressions very complex. I raised an eyebrow slightly. "Are you stargazing?" Every day in the office, they'd mock me for being a fan. But secretly, they were all more obsessed than me. Jason's t-shirt, hat, shoes. Jessica tucked her hair back and said softly, "Isabel, if you really wanted to come, you could have told me. No need to sneak in." A colleague chimed in. "Yeah, Miss Jessica promised to get us autographs. If you'd said something earlier, you'd have gotten one too." Jessica looked at me apologetically. "I'm sorry, the quantity is limited. You won't get one this time, but I'll definitely help you next time." "Sister-in-law, who are they?" Jason's assistants ran over, carrying swim rings. "Colleagues." I finished my orange juice and stood up from the beach chair. "Are you tired from playing?" The girls smiled brightly. "Yes. Carlos told us to go eat. Would you like to join us?" Carlos is Jason's manager. Jessica listened for a while, then asked with a complex expression, "Belle, did your husband come?" "Yes. Excuse me." I didn't want to bother with her much, but after only a few steps, Jessica called out to me. "The vacation villas in Building A require VIP room cards. Isabel, you can't get in." Her brows were furrowed with worry. "I'm just afraid you'll be embarrassed." The young assistant looked surprised, and was about to open her mouth to explain when I interrupted her. "You guys go ahead. I'll be there in a bit." After all, causing a scene at this time would be bad for Jason. Seeing the assistant leave, my colleague chuckled. "Isabel, these people aren't from your fan club, are they? They're really crazy. This is called Sasang fans, right?" I was dizzy from the sun and didn't want to waste any more words with her. "I still have to eat with my family. Excuse me." "Wait. Since your family is here, let's all go together." "No need." Jessica grabbed me. "Belle, you have to let us meet him." No sooner had she spoken than I saw Jason walking towards us over her shoulder. The surrounding scenery instantly faded. My reaction caught the attention of several others. Jessica followed my gaze and was stunned. Suddenly, she smoothed her hair, took a deep breath, and walked over gracefully, flashing a sweet smile. "Hello, Mr. Jason. I am the resort manager, responsible for arranging your itinerary." Jason was stopped halfway and naturally noticed me. He had long given up any hope of me giving him a title. He looked at me calmly, and after a brief moment, he withdrew his gaze and said politely and distantly, "Thank you." Jessica seemed encouraged. "Mr. Jason, my sisters and I are all your fans. Could you sign for us?" Jason smiled and said, "Sorry, I'm short on time. My wife is waiting for me to eat." "I'm sorry to bother you." Jessica was a little embarrassed and turned to us saying, "Mr. Jason needs to eat, let's go." Seeing that I didn't move, Jessica couldn't hold back her temper anymore. She took a deep breath. "Belle, I already told you." Jason walked past us as if nothing had happened. "Hey," I suddenly spoke out. Jason instantly turned his head, his gaze light and affectionate. "Something wrong?" "I want to have dinner with you." Several colleagues looked at me strangely, like I was crazy. Jessica sighed. "Isabel, Mr. Jason is already married. He's not that kind of person. Jason reached out his hand, as if afraid I would run away a second later. Okay, come here. After he spoke, there was a dead silence all around. Jason's foxy tail was practically wagging with pride. He was waiting for me to walk over myself. Jessica suppressed the surprise in her eyes. Mr. Jason, she is our employee, and she just gave birth recently. Jason glanced at her. I know. What does that have to do with anything? She choked, then pushed her luck. Actually, we're all together. I know the resort has some good dishes. If Mr. Jason doesn't mind. Jason looked down to ask for my opinion. I had been out for a while and was a bit hypoglycemic, so I wasn't in the mood to argue with them. Anything is fine with me. As a result, 4 or 5 more people joined us at the dinner table. The young assistants and Jessica exchanged greetings. Oh, sister-in-law, your colleagues are here too. Jessica's expression was a bit subtle, and her gaze swept across the team members. She smiled. Belle, so you already knew Mr. Jason. Why didn't you say so earlier? We're all Mr. Jason's fans. She elegantly took her seat, directly opposite Jason. Jason subtly frowned, and his gaze towards me held a hint of resentment. I was already used to it. Jessica always liked to dominate, and this time was no exception. Compared to eating with Jason under the scrutiny and gaze of others, I preferred to be with his young and lively assistants. The girls were also used to playing with me, so they gathered together and started sharing good things. Sister-in-law, I knitted a hat for the little one. Don't dislike it. She pricked her finger and made a bloody hole, then called me in the middle of the night to take her to the hospital. The doctor said it would have healed if we had been any later. I touched the knitted hat. Thank you. It's so cute. Jessica stirred her vegetable salad. Mr. Jason must be laughing at her. She's always like this, not serious about work. Then she sighed again. Now that she's had a child, as her superior, I have to take care of her even more. That's also why I didn't dare let her come to dinner with Mr. Jason, fearing she wouldn't be well taken care of. Jason cut the steak into pieces. She still works quite hard. Did she say that herself? Jessica couldn't help but laugh, resting her chin on her hand as she looked at Jason. Mr. Jason, you're so kind. Always willing to think the best of people. Jason didn't commit. We've known each other for many years. Many years? Yes. Old acquaintances. Jessica couldn't continue the conversation and turned to cue me. Belle, why isn't your husband here? The junior assistants exchanged glances, unsure whether to speak. Even Jason was staring at me. I put away my knitted hat. Oh, he's busy. Jason's smile stiffened, and he speared a piece of cut steak into his mouth. The dinner ended in a strange atmosphere. Jason didn't say much. Most of the time, Jessica was talking, trying to pry into his private life in various ways, which resulted in no one eating well. After the meal, Jessica waited for me outside. Belle, walk together. A junior assistant pulled my arm. No, my sister-in-law wants to play board games with us. Then I'll join too. I'm quite good at that. Jessica always used to butt in when our team was discussing projects. Peeking at my phone screen was even more common, forcing me to put on a privacy screen protector. As long as I was doing a little better, she would spare no effort to come and get a piece of the pie. The junior assistants politely declined. Sorry, we have enough people. Next time for sure. Jessica reluctantly reminded me. Then go back early. Don't disturb Mr. Jason's rest. He's here for work. Got it. The junior assistants also sensed that our relationship wasn't good. Sister-in-law, your colleague is really thick-skinned. What exactly does she want? Maybe she doesn't want to see me doing well. We gathered to play board games, and Jason also came. Tonight, I had bad luck. I lost 2 games in a row. If you lose, you have to accept a penalty. They cheered. Sister-in-law, drink. I was also having fun and had just taken the beer when Jason reached out and covered the top of the bottle. Wait, I'll take it for her. Then it's 2 bottles. No more beer. My agent, Carlos, stood up and put on his hat. I'll go buy some. Just then, my phone rang. It was a message from my boss. When are you sending me the proposal? My smile froze, and I was a little confused. What proposal? The task Jessica gave you. Although I'm not qualified to manage your private life, it's not right to go out and play without completing your tasks. After that, he also sent a picture from Jessica's moments. I was the background. It wasn't the first or second time she had tripped me up. Before, we were on the same level, so it could be explained. Now she's my superior, and she said she gave me the project, so I couldn't argue. Carlos, I'll go with you. I put on my coat, ready to go out and call my boss. Jason asked, "Shall I go with you?" "No need. It's late and quiet. I'm afraid of paparazzi." Carlos and I took the elevator down to the first floor. Almost as soon as we stepped out of the elevator, Jessica came over. "Belle, where do you live?" I didn't expect her to persist and wait until now. I pointed upstairs. "I live upstairs." "You? Can you afford it?" She showed a look of disbelief, and then glanced at Carlos. "Oh, this must be your husband. No wonder he's familiar with Jason." "He's my friend," I emphasized. Jessica seemed not to hear, walked over familiarly, and extended her hand. "Hello, I'm Isabel's colleague." Isabel used to be secretive, but this time I finally saw him. If I had known your relationship with Isabel, I would have asked you for an autographed photo. Carlos looked utterly bewildered. Not far away, a girl suddenly shouted, "Carlos, what's your relationship with her?" The girl was heavily pregnant, her eyes red. Jessica turned, looked at me, then at the girl. "Didn't he have a child with Isabel?" she sobbed, then turned and ran away. Carlos's face went pale, and he cursed at Jessica. "Are you crazy?" He then chased after her. Jessica still showed no sign of giving up, watching the drama unfold. "Oh dear. What's going on here? You're not even the legitimate wife." Slap! I raised my palm and slapped her across the face. It wasn't a hard hit, mainly just for the sound. Jessica was stunned by my slap. I looked at her coldly. "Had enough. Carlos's wife has an unstable pregnancy and was hospitalized recently. If anything happens, you'll have me to deal with." Jessica covered her face, then suddenly shrieked after a moment. "You dare hit me! Why wouldn't I? You deserve it!" My temper flared too. "I didn't bother with you before because I didn't want trouble. What do you want tonight? You've been acting passive-aggressive since I started having dinner with Jason. You trip me up at work, fine, I accept that. But what about my private life bothers you?" Jessica seemed to have been hit where it hurt. "Who cares what your private life is like? You won't even say who your husband is. One might think you're involved in something shady. Why do you care who my husband is and what he wants to do? Are you sick? You." My palm tingled. I pulled out my phone, dialed my boss's number, and put it on speaker. An impatient voice came from the other end. "What do you want?" I held the receiver to Jessica's face. "Miss Jessica, what project did you assign to me?" Jessica hadn't yet recovered from the anger of being beaten by me. When asked this, she stammered. You! Tell me, what did you assign to me?" Jessica also reacted. "It's the project to visit experts. I gave it to you first thing this morning." "Okay, show me the evidence. Task assignment, specifically in writing. Chat records? Work email? Which one did you use?" Jessica opened her mouth, but I interrupted her. "Don't tell me it was verbally communicated. There's no need to perform such childish tricks in front of the boss, is there?" There was a long silence on the phone. Then he said, "Isabel, what's wrong with you today? What's all this fuss about?" Actually, I had already anticipated the outcome. He didn't want to hear a phone call about employees arguing late at night. Nor did he care who was right or wrong. Jessica gradually calmed down. "Belle, I'm sorry. It's my fault. Next time, I'll definitely send it to your email. I really did tell you. You just forgot." I sneered. "Boss, I never told you before. But Jessica has been tripping me up all these years. Several projects in my hands have been ruined by her." "Isabel, what nonsense are you talking about?" "Enough, Isabel. It's the middle of the night. I want to see the proposal, not be your Judge Bao," the boss said impatiently. I held my phone, calm and composed. "I'm not asking you to be Judge Bao. Kyle, I'm telling you right now, Jessica is an idiot. If you let her manage the project department, just wait for it to go bankrupt." "Are you crazy?" "If I'm not crazy, I'll be waiting for my resignation letter tomorrow." "Oh, and you're an idiot too." I hung up the phone. Jessica sneered. "At your age, resigning means unemployment. Resign if you dare." I called the headhunter right in front of her. At 11 p.m., the other party quickly picked up. "Sister, have you made up your mind? Your salary will double, and your boss will be the industry-renowned Jack, who thinks highly of you." "I've made up my mind. I'll bring my team with me. I was just waiting for you to say that." I hung up the phone and asked, "Satisfied?" Jessica could no longer maintain her composure and shrieked at me. "Don't pretend to be tough. How could Jack know you?" I knew Jack through a chance encounter. At that time, I was working on a project in another province. Jessica should have been there too, but she was still hungover and missed the departure time. What originally required 2 teams to complete all fell on my team members. Jack, as a special guest, highly praised the capabilities of our entire team and invited me to work with him. If it weren't for my deep attachment to the company since its early days, I might have jumped ship months ago. In a way, Jessica gave me the opportunity. Jessica was so angry that she blurted out, "I hate married women like you the most. Your husbands are burdens, and you yourselves are useless, always resigning at the drop of a hat. It's disgusting." The elevator dinged open. Jason walked out, wearing loose, casual clothes. The warm, yellow overhead light poured down, and he looked like a sun enveloped in a thin mist, gentle and dazzling. In the past, I always hesitated, always thinking that letting everyone know we were together would attract a lot of trouble. But people always have to obey their possessiveness and act on impulse a few times. I thought about it, walked over, and said, "I have a question for you." He lowered his eyes, enveloping me in his shadow, waiting for me to speak. "If I agree to go public, will it affect you?" I asked him seriously. Jason was already used to my sudden requests, asking him to cooperate in various forms of cosplay. So, when he first heard that I wanted to go public, he was stunned, and a surprised smile gradually appeared in his dark pupils. "No, I've been ready for a long time." "Okay." I took a deep breath, turned my head, grabbed Jason's arm, and smiled at Jessica. "Don't you want to see my husband? He's right here. Do you still want an autograph?" A world-long silence. I watched Jessica's face turn from red to white, from white to green, and from green to purple. What was terrible was not my wild talk, but that Jason himself did not deny it. He cooperatively extended a hand and said politely and gently, "Hello. Thank you for taking care of my wife all these years." Jessica's face was ashen, and she stood frozen in place for a long time without responding. Of course, Jason didn't care about that either. At this moment, he had more important things to do, and he immediately pulled out his phone. Jessica sneered. "Mister." "Jason, I know you are friends. You don't have to help her so much." Jason raised an eyebrow and told me as if asking for credit. "Wife, it's posted." At this moment, his personal social media page updated a post. "Married with children. Thank you for being there." And he posted a picture of my silhouette. In just 2 minutes, it exploded on the trending topics. Jessica could no longer maintain her composure and left in a hurry. I stared at the post and said, "You're a bit fast." Jason hummed. "Afraid you'd change your mind. Going public has its advantages." Jason and I held hands and took a walk in the small garden downstairs before returning to the hotel. After Carlos appeased his wife, he immediately sought out someone to handle public relations that night. Over the phone, he said, exhausted, "Boss, sister-in-law. Thank you. My wife almost divorced me just now, insisting I explain my relationship with sister-in-law. I apologized. I'm sorry. It's my fault." "No, it's that crazy colleague of yours. Sister-in-law, let me just say one more thing. People who can't stand to see you do well, you should stay away from them as soon as possible. You never know when they might stab you in the back." Thank you, Carlos. We've all been old friends for so many years, ever since before Jason became famous. We've been together. Everything he said was genuinely for my benefit. After hanging up the phone, I received a text message from my best friend. "Did you get the stuff?" My face instantly flushed. "What are you messing around with? You're an old married couple. What's with this under the hawthorn tree romance?" She continued to egg me on. "Belle, a living person is right there. Can you really resist those strange thoughts? When we were young, we were both otome game enthusiasts. Later, I got a real-life male lead and retired from the scene, leaving her as a lonely old woman who regularly sent me new cards." Jason was taking a shower. The frosted glass showed his blurred figure. Half an hour later, the bathroom door clicked open, and steam overflowed from the gap. The scent of shower gel diffused throughout the room. Jason walked out, water droplets dripping from his hair into his soft bathrobe. "Belle, the water's hot and the temperature's just right. Do you want to come and wash?" A silver toy pistol gently pressed against his lower back. "Sir, hands up. Don't move." Jason paused, then slowly raised his hands after a brief moment of contemplation. "Miss, I won't move. Be careful not to accidentally hurt me." He had been acting for so many years that his lines and acting skills were top-notch, not to mention his voice, which could instantly kill many voice actors, with a subtle graininess, deep and pleasant. As he spoke now, there was a faint smile in his tone. My palms were sweating from nervousness as I pressed against him, walking him to the bed. Due to the significant difference in our physiques, I had to be wary of confronting him head-on and being overpowered. "What are your demands?" My ears were practically burning. Robbing money and beauty. What a shameful line. I couldn't believe my best friend came up with it. Jason's shoulders were trembling slightly, as if he was trying hard to suppress his laughter. I got angry, fiercely pressed against his lower back, and pushed him forward. "Don't you think this is a fun thing? It's dangerous." "Dangerous?" He slowly repeated my words, then suddenly turned around. "What's dangerous?" I was captivated by his face after his shower, and my mind went blank for a moment. You know, beauty is also a weapon of mass destruction. My confidence wavered. Who told you to turn around?" Jason smiled lazily, like a refined scoundrel. He hooked his arm around my waist and sat down on the bed, with me on his lap. "Miss Kidnapper, the position is wrong." He took the gun and moved it to his chest. "Shoot here." I suddenly shivered. You. I had completely forgotten the rest of the lines. The hostage had taken over, and I was a struggling kidnapper. Jason held my waist. Belle has given birth, and her waist is still so slender. I dropped the gun and covered his mouth. "You're not allowed to speak." He gently bit my finger, his eyes filled with unconcealed amusement. "Tonight, I'll listen to Belle." The hostage drama ended quickly, and ultimately, it didn't play out. Jason had been abstinent and desireless lately, so I couldn't bring myself to make a move. Having nothing to do, I rehearsed lines with him. His demands on me weren't high. He just wanted me to be able to read them out. Halfway through, I was drowsy, when suddenly my phone buzzed with a message notification. "Sister-in-law, is this person your colleague?" I reluctantly opened my eyes and clicked the link. A personal homepage popped up, filled with diaries at the bottom. The latest post read, "Once you've had a child, you should leave the workplace." With that familiar tone, I could already imagine Jessica's expression when she wrote that sentence. I sorted in reverse chronological order and saw the very first post from the account's early days. "First day as a workplace newbie. This princess is going to achieve great things." Several subsequent posts shared details of her life. My curiosity was piqued. I wanted to know why she held such animosity towards me. After a dozen or so posts, I found the answer. An image, accompanied by a paragraph of text. I often feel out of place among them. They are extravagant and indulgent, buying bags worth tens of thousands without a second thought, immersed in hedonism, not working hard to earn money, yet parading around and showing off in front of others. Why can't they just work hard? There will be bread and there will be bags. That picture was of my bag. Perhaps because this sentence resonated with someone, this post suddenly went viral. "Don't be discouraged, little sister. You are better than all of them. Yes, we can't choose our origins, but at least we can work hard to control our own destiny." Were you bullied? Workplace bullying. For the first time in her life, Jessica felt the sweetness of being noticed and kept interacting with people. "It's nothing. I just felt inspired. After all, she and I are not from the same world. Go for it. You'll be better than her." From then on, she started to craft her persona, portraying herself as a strong, hard-working woman in the workplace. Over time, she even deluded herself. On her social media, there was always a cup of black coffee in the morning and a gleaming office building. As for me, I might still be sleeping at my desk after pulling an all-nighter. My first meal of the morning would be a cold bun from last night. "What are you looking at?" Jason asked. I showed him the photo. "Do you remember this bag?" "I do," Jason said with a smile. "Without this bag, I might have had a much harder time winning you over." At that time, I had to travel to another city to visit a scholar. I heard she had certain requirements for people's attire, so I spent over half a month painstakingly researching her preferences. After much hesitation, I borrowed money from Jason, who I wasn't very close with at the time. I rented a bag. After that deal was done, I earned 50,000 yuan. On the way back, my bag was slashed by a thief, so I took out 10,000 and bought it. It's still at home now. Further down, I scrolled to another post. Colleagues had dinner together. I stayed in the office, working overtime, and ate their leftovers. Life is about carrying a heavy load. Many people below expressed their indignation for her. No way. Why didn't you throw the food in her face? The boss likes her. LOL. A crony. I was genuinely a little angry when I saw this. This wasn't leftovers. It was fresh food I specifically packed for her from the restaurant. Because that day Jessica said she wasn't feeling well and couldn't go, I even ordered takeout for her with medicine and brown sugar water. This kind of put down your chopsticks and curse attitude made it impossible to vent my anger. Just as I was feeling upset, my assistant said, "Sister-in-law, she's trending with you two." In the screenshot, Jessica's account was ranked second, with the keywords, "Jason's wife workplace bullying." Based on my years of experience, even if PR steps in for this kind of mudslinging, it will still have some impact on the boss. In the conference room, Carlos was seriously analyzing. Because there's no evidence to speak of, everyone believes there's no smoke without fire. Individual fans, rival marketing accounts, complex components, just a few waves of rhythm can ruin everything. It's okay. I'm not afraid. Jason was as calm as ever. What impact will it have on Belle? Carlos looked at me awkwardly. She'll be cyberbullied. I smiled at them. Coincidentally, I'm not afraid either. Not afraid. But the public opinion battle still needs to be fought. Jessica was convinced I couldn't defend myself, and she was overly active. She said I had used Jason's influence to gain a lot of resources over the years. Many people flooded in below, comforting her. Sister, you must protect yourself. There's no good end to going against capitalists. Jason isn't confused. Every one of us here is responsible. And Isabel, she's just a connected person. Now she's moved on to a higher platform. The studio receives abusive calls every day, and everyone is exhausted. And every day, I sit at a small window seat, sketching and writing, looking at Jessica's updates. Jason is even busier. He doesn't say it, but I know this public opinion has caused him a lot of trouble, with people asking questions and cancelling contracts. This storm has affected him far more than me. Even so, he still acts as if nothing happened, regularly accompanying me for meals and breaks. A few days later, I registered an account. First post. Hello everyone. I'm Isabel. Second post. I will periodically release some chat records, with timelines as evidence. My memory isn't particularly good, so I developed a habit from a young age, putting everything down on paper. I have to say, it's a very good habit. Back to the original bag incident. My transaction records with the store, the purpose of use, screenshots of the bag being damaged by a thief, and my offer to compensate all became images posted online. The caption: "Behind all the glamour is the struggle for life." The post quickly attracted a large number of onlookers. Huh? If I understand correctly, Isabel rented the bag for a collaboration, right? Whispering. I've done that too. Because without a good car or bag, people won't even let you in the door. That's reality. That's the truth. As fellow workers, I deeply empathize. Compared to Jessica subtly mocking the rich heiress, I feel Isabel is more like a diligent worker. Don't know the whole picture, just sit back and watch. I crossed out the first page of my notebook and quickly posted a second update. It was some chat log sent to me by my boss and colleagues. Isabel, hurry up with that proposal. Me? I thought Jessica was doing it? She's on leave. The same day, my mum messaged me. Belle, why aren't you home yet? It's your birthday today. I'm working overtime. Probably won't be back until tomorrow night. My colleague took leave, so I got her work. Second picture. Colleague. Isabel, have you seen Jessica? Me? No. Colleague. Why isn't she here? I heard she went on a date. Her boyfriend is quite rich. Me. Do you need something? Oh, her plan isn't finished yet, and I need it urgently. You're in the same department. Can you urge her? I'll do it then. I had dozens of similar screenshots, so I made a collage and posted a 9-grid image. The caption: "Effort isn't just talk. Please show action." The comment section exploded. Oh my God. No way, how disgusting. So, she's the one who's always taking leave. I just checked Jessica's social media. Around this time, she was complaining about working late. But Isabel stayed up all night because of her. Emma, that's a powerful hit. Anything else? I responded to the leftovers incident, which drew the most public criticism. Belle, I'm not feeling well. You guys go ahead. What's wrong? Stomachache. Then I'll go to the hospital with you. No need. I'll rest for a bit. You guys go eat. Okay. I ordered some medicine for you. Remember to take it. I attached a screenshot of a food delivery order. Jessica, are you still at the office? I brought you some lean meat porridge. Their golden egg dumplings are also delicious. I bought you a new portion. Wow, thank you. You love leftovers so much, I should have really brought you leftovers. Finally, I captioned it. The crowd in the comment section grew. Ha 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 ha. I'm dying of laughter. Isabel is so good at rebutting people. I've lived long enough to see it all. Eating meat from the bowl, then putting down the chopsticks and cursing. She's mastered being both a hypocrite and a saint. She didn't want to go because she wanted to take photos in the office and create a persona, right? As the situation became clearer, someone revealed. Isabel continued to work during her maternity leave. And a few hours after entering the delivery room, Jessica stole her client. An insider in the industry who couldn't stand it broke the news. The projects I previously worked on with Miss Isabel were all going well, and the details were finalized. I don't know what their company was thinking, suddenly changing the person in charge. The new person spoke harshly, with an air of arrogance, as if no one in the world was worthy of speaking to her. With all due respect, we are the client. In a fit of anger, I blocked Isabel's contact information, thinking she was irresponsible. But then I saw the details, and it turns out she was giving birth at that time. Taking advantage of a woman's maternity leave to steal her achievements is disgusting, okay? One more thing. Jessica's ability is really poor, relying on a pile of crap. Her appearance sealed the fate of this incident. When Jessica was marketing her persona, she never considered that she would be exposed today. Comparing the two sides, it was full of loopholes. In just 20 minutes, she hid several corresponding posts and started deleting comments. Panicked. Why block me? If you have the guts, don't delete it. Silencing old hag. I put down my phone, stretched. The sunlight was dazzling, and my eyes, tired from several sleepless nights, felt a little sore. A cup of hot milk sat on the table. Jason was still wearing yesterday's clothes, his black hair slightly disheveled, clearly not well rested either. Have you handled everything? Yes, it's all handled. Carlos pushed open the door, carrying several bags of fried dough sticks and hot soy milk. Sister-in-law, to get that collaborator to come forward for you. Brother Jason worked all night. I looked up at him in surprise. Jason handed me a sugar-coated fried dough stick. I know you can do it yourself, but this is faster. Eat, and then go to sleep. The lawyer's letter has been drafted. Leave the rest to me. My tense nerves slowly relaxed. After a simple breakfast, I fell asleep. When I woke up, it was already dark outside. I opened my phone and found that Jessica's popularity had increased instead of decreased. Jessica was the biggest connected party. I lay in bed, listening to the clock tick, and suddenly felt relieved. All the injustices and grievances I had suffered over the years finally had an answer. Awake, Jason's voice came from beside me. The room was too dark. I hadn't noticed him earlier. I leaned over and hugged Jason without saying a word. Have you ever experienced something like this? Jason gently stroked my hair. I did when I first started in the industry. As a newcomer with no connections, being given the cold shoulder was commonplace. I remember when I first met Jason. I was interning at a company and traveling out of town with my team leader for a business trip, passing by a store. It was hot, and most people would come to nearby stores for sweet soup after filming. Jason was different. He was meticulously studying his script. Curious, I struck up a conversation with him. Brother, what role are you playing? Jason smiled gently at me. A small soldier who died on the battlefield to save the general. He showed me the script, which had only one line highlighted in red. General, hurry and leave. That day, I stayed on set and watched his scene. He fell countless times, swallowed countless blood packs, and was repeatedly thrown into the mud under the scorching sun. Afterwards, I said, I think you acted very well. You're the first person to say that. After he finished speaking, he gave an apologetic smile. But the director just cut my lines. I thought for a moment, unsure how to comfort him, so I said, what a coincidence. My team leader also cut my work, so I won't have any money this month. Jason laughed out loud after hearing that. It seems I'm luckier than you. At least I still have money to earn. That night, he treated me to hot pot, and when we parted ways, we exchanged WeChat contacts. I often saw his life on set in his WeChat moments. evolving from an unknown extra to an actor with lines. Later, I graduated and started working. Every time Jason passed through my city, he would invite me for a casual meal. He was getting better, and so was I. Then, a few years ago, Jason became an overnight sensation. That evening, I received a call from him. After a long wait, Jason said, "I want to come over to your place." He later told me that he wanted to propose to me that night, but he was afraid it would be too abrupt, so he settled for asking me to a movie the next day. The movie's title was flipped. Later, Jessica posted several more updates trying to justify herself. The general idea was that I had hired trolls to slander her, but it didn't have much credibility. I heard that after I left with my team, the original company's reputation plummeted. If Jessica had been capable, she wouldn't have had anything to worry about. The problem was, she was just a pretty face. She messed up several projects she was in charge of. The boss couldn't find a suitable replacement in time. And after several consecutive setbacks, the capital chain broke, and the company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, I moved to a broader platform. We had plenty of staff, colleagues who worked well together, and extremely high work efficiency. As a result, we achieved more with less effort, and we were given generous holidays. That summer, Jason took on a parent-child reality show. I happened to be on vacation, so we went to the beach together. Cindy was 7 years old, well-behaved and adorable, with eyes like Jason's and a nose and small mouth like mine. She would sweetly call everyone uncle and auntie, quickly gaining a large number of fans. After a few episodes, the audience split into two groups. One group watched to see Jason and me flirting. The other group watched for Cindy. At this moment, Cindy was looking at us cooking with a blank, adorable expression. By the stove, I watched Jason kneading dough. "Did you put in too little water?" His forearms were covered in flour, and he seriously said, "Egg noodles are better chewy." Cindy, meanwhile, was squatting at a small table, molding little hedgehogs. The bullet comments floated by. "Ah, sweet Cindy, the little hedgehogs are so cute." Jason suddenly pulled off a piece of dough and handed it to me. "What for?" "Aren't you making a little hedgehog?" Bullet comments. "Good morning, everyone. Except for you two." At the end of the show, the production team arranged for Jason and Cindy to build sandcastles on the beach. As an outsider, I was interviewed under a coconut grove not far away. "Miss Isabel, the production team has invited an old friend for you. Would you like to meet her?" I turned around and saw Jessica. In recent years, Jessica's career hadn't been going well. She called me for help later, but I ignored her. Soon after, she resigned and used her remaining influence to create hype, gaining some fame. I had long heard that the production team loved to create hype, but I didn't expect them to actually invite her. Jessica was much more reserved. She sat down opposite me. The host asked, "Is Miss Jessica currently single?" "Yes." "Are you not considering marriage?" "Marriage is a burden to me. I'm quite independent." Jessica looked at me meaningfully. The host then turned the question to me. "As a married woman with children, what do you think?" I instantly understood that this was the highlight the show wanted to offer the audience. The last guest interviewed by the production team is still being criticized. It's easy to fall into a trap if you're not careful. Not to mention that many online media outlets maliciously edit and mislead the public. I looked at the big and small figures not far away and retorted, "Why must one get married?" Jessica was stunned. The host was also stunned. I took a sip of coconut juice. Everyone has the freedom to choose their own life. I got married simply because I wanted to, not because I should. Similarly, not wanting to get married is also a choice. Jessica was not reconciled and still wanted to team up with the production team to guide me into saying something controversial. "Don't you think that after marriage, you lose the courage to be independent?" I smiled. Independence is great, but it's not something you can achieve by just snapping your fingers and shouting slogans. True female independence means standing on the edge of a blade, calmly facing all injustices, and having the determination to change them. If you're not content, then climb to that position and change the rules, instead of wasting energy on meaningless internal strife. Perhaps Miss Jessica doesn't know, but more than half of my team are women. Some married, some unmarried, and they are all excellent and independent. Perhaps the production team had prepared a script before they arrived. The host was stunned for a long time and didn't continue. Jessica also stopped talking, looking at the sea, wondering what she was thinking. A wave in the distance knocked over Cindy's sandcastle. Under the blue sky and white clouds, Cindy crawled out of the wet sand pit. chased the white waves, picked up her small shovel, returned to the beach, and squatted down to continue digging. Jason just sat beside her, laughing, not helping. The host changed the subject. Aren't you going to comfort her? A breeze blew, and Cindy's hat swirled onto Jason's face. I smiled and said, It's okay. She knows how to rely on herself.